Well, nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag, and if they do, there must be consequences, perhaps a loss of citizenship or a year in jail. That tweet by Donald Trump is creating outrage, and it should raise a lot of concern. Do we have freedom of speech in this country or not? We're going to get into that, but also, what about the hypocrisy of those who are outraged? I've got to hit that as well. Let's give it a reality check you won't see anywhere else. Well, I showed you the tweet sent out by President-elect Donald Trump that burning the American flag should result in a loss of citizenship or up to a year in jail. Well, the outrage is being heard everywhere, and it should be. First of all, let's drop the idea of being able to strip a citizen of their citizenship, because that is completely unconstitutional. And there is no legal process for the U.S. government ever, under any circumstance, to strip a citizen of their citizenship. The 14th Amendment makes no provision for it, and that includes flag burning. But what's more, this is already a settled issue, because burning the American flag, whether you agree with it or not, and most people don't, it is considered symbolic speech and is therefore protected speech under the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court ruled on this in 1989 after a Texas man was arrested and charged with burning the American flag. The majority of the court noted that freedom of speech protects actions that society may find very offensive, but society's outrage alone is not justification for suppressing free speech. We're going to get back to that in a minute. But first, what about those who are left outraged by this tweet? Because there is some serious hypocrisy. If you voted for Hillary Clinton and yet are angered by President-elect Donald Trump's tweet, here's why. Because not once, but twice, Hillary Clinton, as a U.S. Senator, supported legislation to criminalize burning the American flag. In 2005, she co-sponsored legislation to criminalize the desecration of the American flag. In 2006, she enthusiastically supported another bill that would have done the very same thing. And while Trump has called for a year in jail for flag burners, Clinton's Flag Protection Act in 2005, it would have not only criminalized flag burning, it would have imposed a maximum 1-year jail sentence and carried a $100,000 fine for offenders. Now, aside from the fact that both our major party candidates, Clinton and Trump, in this last election are both against symbolic speech, what you need to know is that many of you probably also agree that flag burning should not be protected. And you're entitled to that view. But here's the problem with allowing free speech to be subject to the opinions of the majority. The beauty and the importance of having a right to your speech is that it is not dependent on how other people feel about it. When speech is only allowed when a majority of the people find it acceptable or not offensive, then we really don't have free speech at all. We have accepted speech. There's a reason why the founders made freedom of speech the very first protected right in our Constitution. Because the moment you lose your right to speak, you've also lost everything else that comes after that. That's a reality check. Let's talk about that on Twitter.